Look, I think the first thing that one would need to say is that we become a little forgetful, I think, that in the late 80s, early 90s, South Africa was regarded as an irredeemable situation. There was no way we were going to come out of that short of a bloodbath. And the amazing thing is that despite the extent of our differences, there came a time where we actually sat down and said, now, okay, we've got the capacity to kill one another. We've got the capacity to destroy this country. But unless we apply our minds and unless we cooperate, we're never going to find a way to coexist and to live together. And that was the beginning of the negotiation process in South Africa, where it was agreed that that settlement to which I've referred can happen. It must happen. It's our only alternative to death. So we better get on with it. And it really had to do with trying to build a new society on the basis of political reconciliation. And political reconciliation is not forgiveness. It doesn't mean you've got to hug and kiss. It doesn't mean you've got to love one another. It just simply means that you've got to be prepared to sit down with your enemy, with your adversary, and say, now, okay, we've got ourselves into a deep hole here. We've got ourselves into serious trouble. In fact, the future looks pretty grim. Now, is there a way in which we can get out of it? And to get out of it, it meant that we needed to respect one another's views, listen to one another carefully, and come up with a compromise solution that would enable us to go forward. A situation, to use the jargon, that is win-win, rather than somebody winning and the other one losing badly. And for us, it included, inter alia, a democratic process, free participation in elections, and for us, a key ingredient was the Truth Commission, where we said we're not going to deny the past, we're not going to opt for amnesia. In fact, we're going to talk about the past. We're going to put the past on the table. We're going to put it under the spotlight. We're all going to look at the past, and we're going to think about the past. We're going to criticize the past, and we're going to interrogate the past, not with a view to taking revenge. In fact, with a view to learn from that past so we could move forward. And that resulted in a transitional process that included amnesty, where essentially we said to perpetrators, come and tell us your story. Just honestly, openly tell us your story. Victims needed to hear that from perpetrators. And we invited victims, survivors, to come and tell their stories. Over 22,000 people volunteered to tell their story to the Commission. We have all of those stories on record in the archives. Approximately 10% of those people who volunteered to tell their story came and told their story in public, in the presence of television cameras and everywhere else. It was broadcast across the country. It was a window into the past. For some, it was a cathartic experience. It was a moment in which we acknowledged, as a nation, that we had done terrible, terrible things to one another, and we now wanted to move on. It was a transitional moment for South Africa, and I think something that has fascinated the world, that many other situations of conflict have adopted a similar situation, a similar solution, as it were, a similar program, a similar proposal, and in order to move from an oppressive past to the beginning of democracy, I think that's the first requirement, to just acknowledge rather than deny what happened.